Oh boy. How's it going? Episode 115 of Come Lose It with Matt Duncan. I'm your host, Matt Duncan. You know that. That's why you're here. Oh my God, it's been a week. It has been a week. How is everybody doing? We're 8 days from the eclipse now. Did you get to see the eclipse? Were you in the path of the eclipse? Did you go drive to Niagara Falls or what? What did you do? What did you do? Did you get the cloud? Unfortunately, everyone in Niagara Falls got the cloud. Turned into be the biggest bust for the biggest tourism boom in the history of Niagara Falls. We decided to go the other way. Figured where my mom lives, she's in the path of totality. Why don't we just go there? Save money. We can relax. We don't even have to leave the property. We can just sit there, look up, take some pictures, enjoy the moment. And I said on the last podcast, I didn't really put any thought into this. I haven't been thinking about it. Some people have as we got closer to the day. The excitement really started to ramp up. People were trying to find those glasses. We were lucky to get a couple pairs. Got another one through a family member for my mom. And it was actually pretty cool. It was like a baby bucket list thing. Yeah, passive bucket list. If you're able to get to do it with minimal energy, you should do it. But it did cost us, and I'm going to get into that. I don't know if you can hear in my voice still, but the eclipse cost us a week of our lives. But it was great. We had a good time. We experienced the totality. It got dark. All the solar lights turned on in my mom's yard. She was freaking out, just having a good time. Unfortunately, we got there 2 days before the eclipse, and she had a sore throat. Now, this is something that's going on with the boomer generation now. A lot of them were very careful with the COVID stuff for a few years. It was good, but something snapped. They got tired. We're all tired of it. I get it. It was exhausting. You had to call people and say, hey, do you have any symptoms? Oh, my kid's got a runny nose. Oh, God, they're testing. Everything, it was hell. I get it. But there's still the little basic ones that we know are going to lead to other stuff. And that one is the sore throat. Unless you've been singing like fucking Guns N' Roses karaoke till 4 a.m, that sore throat is probably from a virus. So my mom had that virus. She had a sore throat, and she didn't tell us. So it's like we would have still came. We stay in a separate property from her. We would have masked up the whole time, probably. We would have asked her to mask up, and then maybe we would have been okay. But that didn't happen. And by Monday, by the day of the eclipse, my wife was feeling really bad already. And I was like, that's fast. 2 days from exposure and you're already sick? This isn't good. We got to get the fuck out of here. So as soon as that eclipse happened, we got out of Dodge. And oh boy, did we have a fun drive home. Truck on fire. We immediately were in traffic for like an hour and a half. Oh God, it was miserable, but I still had my energy. I'm like, let's just get home. And then Tuesday, I'm going to put the summer tires on the car, take the winters to the dump. I got to do that because I just knew it was coming. You could feel it. It was like a tsunami. You could see the water sucking out from the shoreline. And I was just trying to make it to the mountain top in time. So I did, but Tuesday night, I got the sore throat. Now, this wasn't as bad as the last time I was sick. If you go back on the episodes at the end of November there, that sore throat was way worse. And I'll be honest with you, I cannot get these COVID tests to turn positive. I've never seen one in my presence turn positive. Now, everything that I had symptom-wise felt a lot like COVID. What I would imagine, we both felt like we were hit by a truck. We went from sore throats to dry cough to fever. Had a fever for a couple days. not a bad one. Got as high as 101. Then it went back down. By Sunday, we were like over the hump. And now it's just some postnasal drip, a little bit of congestion, as you can hear. And I'm sorry. I'm really trying to make it sound better than I am. But I'm just, I went so long without getting sick. And now I've gotten sick twice in the last 4 months. And I've, all of this fear about going out in public to restaurants and to shows and to grocery stores. I've never been sick by the public yet. And I know people got sick from the public. I know people, even when there was like hardcore quarantine, people were getting COVID and they did everything they could. But it never happened for me. I got all my illnesses, these last two, from family ambush. It's like the boomers, they've activated like a boomer protocol or something. They're pissed about those couple of years because they're in the back nine. Okay, the boomers are in the back nine of life. We don't know how much they got left. Could be tomorrow, could be 10 years. We don't know. So I think that there must have been a memo that went out or something, and it asked them to activate the boomer protocol. And hey, if you're feeling a little sick and you have a family event, it's best not to say anything until you get there and they notice you don't sound right. And then they're trapped. It's just also goddamn silly. And it makes it, when I get sick, I get loopy. And yesterday, these fucking tree cutters come to take some branches off the house of hell, we call it next door. I don't know what goes on in there. They got something taking care of disabled people, but I don't know. Can't wait to see the doc on that fucking place. Anyway, tree cutters come, and then without warning, they're in our backyard. 4 of them going to work, chainsaws. I go out and I go, what the hell's going on? Why didn't you knock on the door and tell us you were going to our backyard? I got in a fight with this guy. Like it was close to getting nasty. I don't know. This other fucking guy came out and he said, "What, are you swearing at my guy?" Oh yeah, I am fucking swearing at your guy. What the hell are you doing trespassing in our backyard? Why don't you knock on the door and ask? I understand you got to cut down some branches. I fucking get it. You can't just be going trust. What if we had a fucking dog? What if we had an event or something back there? We had a party. People, what are you going to fucking do? Be bad enough we'd have to listen to you on the other side of the fence. Maybe you wouldn't have been allowed to go back there. He tried to tell me he had the right. I was like, fuck. And I looked up where they were from, and it was Keswick. And I said, okay, I'm going to go back in the house right now. Because, listen, if you're from these parts and you're dealing with people that were, blue-collared people from Keswick, okay, they're on that royal family type of shit, okay, without the royal. If you get me, if you figured that out, if you sniff that drift, okay, they're on that cousin. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to fuck with people like that. You don't want to go to the Hills Have Eyes and start whistling, folks. And that's what Keswick has always been to everybody around this area. So when I found that out, I went in the fucking house and I closed the blinds and I prayed that one of those assholes didn't cut my internet line, because it's just out on the lawn right now like a fucking orange extension cord. I don't know when they're going to come to bury that. It's like we've turned into the goddamn Fallout show. It's all gone to hell here in this little shit town north of Toronto. Oh, I can't wait to get out of here. Really? Guys, I can't wait to I've had enough of the hometown, the hometown stopover, as I've called it in the past. I've had enough. I don't want to be here anymore, but I don't want to be in the city. I don't know where the fuck we want to go. Maybe we should just get a fucking houseboat. Go fucking stay in the middle of a lake till we figure our shit out. Could do it. I think I could do it. Still feel like change is coming, so we'll see this year. I just feel it in my guts. And I paid for a very cheap simulation at Life, like the cheapest fucking one you can get, obviously, because it is pure shit. It's been pretty shitty so far. It's been a real basic, matrixy shit fucking simulation, and I want a refund. R.I.P. Joe Flaherty. Okay, let's move on to some nicer stuff. Now, it's not nice that Joe's dead, but Joe Flaherty is one of the comedians that I got to meet at the very beginning of my career when I was in college. I was just a young 19-year-old boy. And Joe Flaherty, SCTV icon, was our artist in residence at Humber College in the comedic writing and performance category. And he was the nicest guy. I think everything that's been said about him has been deserved. I'm really glad that he's been getting a little bit of a shine right now. I've seen a lot of people talk about him, a lot of huge celebs, huge A-listers, like Adam Sandler. They love this guy, you know, and he was in Happy Gilmore, and he was the guy that was always heckling Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore. And I had a thing when I was in college. I had a little joke book where I would write my jokes and stuff I was going to do for stand-up. But I also wanted to get a few autographs in it to, like, be good luck or whatever. And his is one of them. I have 2 in there. No, I've got 3. Joe Flaherty, Andrea Martin, and Dave Foley. And Joe Flaherty wrote, "Make 'em laugh, jackass." Reference to Happy Gilmore. Really nice guy. And I'll say the one little bit of gossip that we ever got out of him, doesn't sound like he loved Rick Moranis. I think he respected his talent. Doesn't sound like they got along. Sounds like Rick was a bit of an asshole. That was kind of, I'll never forget it because it was a bit gut-wrenching. I mean, you look at him and you go, yeah, he doesn't seem like he'd be the nicest guy. He doesn't look the most affable, the most approachable. And Joe really is. Joe's like, for a 6'5" dude, he was very approachable and sweet. And he told us that Rick Moranis was, you know, not amongst his favorite of people. Probably doesn't keep in touch, and I would imagine that Mr. Moranis won't be attending the funeral. O.J. Simpson is dead. O.J. Simpson has fucking died. Can you believe it? Almost 30 years to the day that he murdered his wife and a waiter delivering glasses to the house. And we're starting it all over again. You're hearing from some of his lawyers. The majority of his lawyers have died of cancer. The majority of them have died. I think there's only 1 or 2 that are still alive. And they're bringing back the same shit. They're bringing back the same shit. And now we get to see what it's all like when it gets to a high level of horse shit on social media. And it seems like everyone's attacking his son. But I thought that they did a DNA test and his son would only have 50% of OJ's. It wasn't like they found 50%. They found the fucking whole thing of his DNA. Oh, we're just grasping here. Now, he didn't give a deathbed confession. But I read his book that he wrote, and it's clear that he did it. And it's like we've all been trapped in 1995 for so long, and now we're free. We're free to roam, and we don't have to worry about where we sit on the OJ issue anymore. I'm not going to say something like good riddance that he's dead, but at the same time, I'm pretty fucking indifferent from when he's been a real shitbag these last 30 years. And it's not even like he tried to atone, or he even, okay, let's say like he was innocent. Let's just say it was his son and he's being a good dad and he's just trying to keep his son out of prison. And he's actually doing the most beautiful thing possible. Let's just say that that's the truth, okay? How would you be protecting your son and then like writing a book about how you would have done the murders and all the other shit and the fucking circus show that he did in Vegas and in fucking Florida. Is that protecting your son? I honestly don't think he has it in him. I think if it was his son, he would have thrown his son under the fucking bus. And that's that.
Fitness update.
Okay, guys, let me just have a little sippy do here of the coffee. Try to get some of that sick smell, that sick sound. Oh, that's the stuff. That's the stuff, baby. Fitness update. Everybody, look, it was pretty non-existent during the illness. Tuesday night, the night that I started to feel symptoms of this, let's call it the flu. I worked out. I got on the bike, and I wasn't like getting a very good workout, but I was sweating a lot, which is pretty fucking rare for me. Pretty rare to sweat like that when I'm not trying that hard. So I knew something was up. So I haven't really worked out since. I'm going to get out there today. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to hit the bike. We're going to start there. Walk and a bike. Okay? After this podcast, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a fucking walk. Or I'm going to do the bike. I don't know. That's not to be disputed here. I've talked about this, of course, but I think I'm done with the drinking. I haven't drank, obviously, over the last week at all. And I'm not digging it. And I think that since I've been cutting down on that, and I've been cutting down on some other things, I'm starting to lose a little bit of weight. So when I started doing the fast, I did a week of the fast and then I stopped because I wasn't feeling very good from it. Went a little too hard. And then I got sick. And since then I've lost about 3 pounds. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I want to keep that going. Mentally, fitness update mentally, not doing so well right now. And sometimes when you get sick, it really compounds what's going on in your head. It makes the edges of what's bothering you a little sharper and a little heavier. So I'm trying to work my way through that. And I find that doing this podcast sometimes really does help when I go through moments like that. Sometimes this podcast is about me trying to medicate myself. So we're going to try and work through that and try to get somewhere, make some changes in my life that are going to make me a little bit happier. But in the meantime, when you're not feeling great mentally, you should try and exercise. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're just going for walks. Walks are the best. Walks are the best. Put on a podcast, go for a walk, feel the sun or feel the night. I love a night walk. I love a night walk because it's empty. There's no one around. It's just me walking the streets, getting that heart rate up, and you're doing more than you realize. So I'm going to try not to take it so hard on myself, okay? Easier said than done. And I want you to do the same.
Health news. News that is health related.
Guys, we're going to get through this real quick. I'm not doing a big health article or anything today. I'm just going to talk about something that I find really works for me when I'm sick and why you need to be careful. You need to be smart if you are using this type of device to clear congestion in your nasal cavity. And that's called a neti pot. There's many different ways that you can do them. They have just the normal, it's just kind of like a small little pot and you just pour it through one nostril as you tilt your head and everything comes out the other way. I never really liked that. I felt that I needed a little bit more pressure. So there's you get these little plastic bottles that have a nasal tip on them, and then you can actually squirt it up your nose. I'd prefer a little something more sezzy, if you will. I want a little more rizz on my neti pot. So I have this fucking thing that looks like an electric toothbrush with a with a plastic reservoir on the bottom for the water and saline, and it's battery operated, and that thing just shoots right up my nose and comes right at the other, and it works friggin' great. It's like Dr. Gupta or something. You can get them online on Amazon. You can get them at your grocery store, or sorry, not your grocery store, your pharmacy. I've had it for years, and I love it. But apparently there are people that do the neti pot and they don't use distilled water. You can't do that. You can't do that. So just listen to the risk you're taking. This is an allergy doctor that I follow. His name's Ruben something. He's a smart guy, and this is from the Associated Press, this article that he is referencing. But there's a dangerous amoeba that you need to be aware of if you're a neti potter.
Service announcement, please share this information widely. You have probably heard by now that if you flush your nasal passages with tap water using a device like this called a neti pot, there is a small but actual risk of contracting a severe infection from an amoeba called Naegleria fowleri, also known as a brain-eating amoeba, and it is usually fatal, unfortunately. Now there was a paper published recently showing that there is another amoeba that has been linked to severe infections that has been likely due to nasal rinsing with tap water as well. The name of the organism is called Acanthamoeba. It's commonly found in the soil, rivers, lakes, and tap water, and while it's safe to drink tap water, it is not necessarily safe to use tap water for nasal rinsing because you could get this severe infection. There's about 3 to 12 cases diagnosed in the United States per year, and over 80% of them are fatal. If you are going to use tap water for nasal rinsing purposes, you need to boil it for at least 1 minute and let it cool down, or up to 3 minutes if you live at an elevation greater than 1,980 meters. Or you could just use sterile or distilled water for nasal rinsing purposes.
Okay, so I've known about this brain amoeba thing for a while. I don't think I've ever been as nuts to just use tap water. You can't do that. Like, I have to sterilize all this stuff. I have to take off the nasal piece. I got to take off the reservoir. I've got to take off the little rubber hose that goes into the reservoir, and I got to put it in the microwave for like at least a minute just to disinfect it to make sure there is no bacteria and stuff. That's what it says in the instructions. I always do that, and I always use distilled water. Distilled water is very cheap. You can get like a 5-liter jug of it for less than $2, and one of them will last you the entire time you're sick. You don't need to do this every day. It also helps with allergies. I find that because I have such bad seasonal allergies, I do like to use it during the month of June to rinse out my nose. And man, it just really makes a difference. The pollen gets trapped up in your nose apparently, and you gotta blow it out. But with this, yeah, I don't want to get the brain-eating amoeba. I don't want to get the brain-eating disease. The neti pot works so well, especially if it's like this battery operated one. I can't say the same for the other ones. They just don't work for me. But when you have post-nasal drip, I cannot stand fucking having post-nasal drip. It feels like you're just trying to swallow and you can't. It feels like it's just hanging or something in the back of your throat, but it's not. It's like dripping from higher up that you can't blow out. And the neti pot just works beautifully, folks. It just gets it out. You do one nostril, then you do the next. You got to make sure you put your little saline packages in the distilled water. Oh, it's fantastic. I swear you'll get better faster because you won't have stuff dripping into your lungs and causing that type of congestion. Because once it gets down in there, it's just you're hacking and spitting. It's not good. So I'm pro neti pot. Just, yes, don't use tap water unless you boil it, which I have done before. But make sure you really, really boil it, dude. Just buy the distilled water. Okay, we're in this last part here. I'm going to try to wrap it up as fast as I can. Guys, the hockey playoffs are around the corner. There's a couple games left for most teams, and by Saturday, the NHL playoffs will start. The NBA play-in starts tonight, It's a whole different world. It's the end of the season. This is it. The playoffs, teams get eliminated, and then you have the summer off, and you dabble into baseball a little bit if you want, just to check, don't fucking, it's too many games. And then football and all that shit. I love having the summers off for sports watching. I just really enjoy it. It was really fucked up during the pandemic when there was hockey in like July. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. It really screwed my mind. But I do love hockey. I'm a big Leaf fan. I'm very excited for what is to come. I'm not very hopeful for the first round. I'll be shocked if they win the first round. I just feel they could and they couldn't. I don't know. It's just this team is just so hard. It's just never fucking, they don't have it fully together ever. Anyway, hockey players, let me tell you a little secret about hockey players that it just blows my mind. The best ones, the ones that break all the records and stuff, they eat absolute horseshit. They eat absolute horseshit and like they don't drink water and BioSteel and all this shit on the bench. Like Wayne Gretzky used to drink Diet Coke on the bench. Diet Coke during a game. Alex Ovechkin, I think he's the same. He's eating burgers and shit all the time. They all, like, Gretzky also used to eat McDonald's a lot. But they're professional athletes. It's just like throwing a Kleenex in a furnace, It's just crazy. Crazy. Whenever I was playing hockey, it's been a long time now. It's been 4 years since I put on hockey gear and played in a game. And God, I'll tell you, the last thing I was doing everything possible to be in the best shape of my life before I played, because it made such a difference. It's such a difference. If I came to the game, oh fuck, it's just, hockey's hard, man. It uses every muscle in your body, every muscle. It doesn't look like it, and you think like, oh well, you're coasting on skates, you're bouncing on blades, and your equipment's heavy. It's not light. As soon as you put on that equipment, your heart starts beating a little faster. Like that shit ain't. And then you're getting hit and you're clinching and you're fucking hitting and you're shoot. Oh man, it is the best. If you get yourself in hockey shape, oh, you're feeling great. You're feeling great. I tell you, it's always great halfway through the season. This story came out about the Titanic movie, and I never heard anything about this before. And it was brought up on a CTV News article like, oh yeah, remember this? Remember this old thing? Never heard this in my life. So in 1996, they were shooting this movie. The film crew was drugged. It was shooting in Halifax, Canada, Nova Scotia. And apparently, let's see what it was here. Initially fearing food poisoning, all had in fact unknowingly eaten lobster chowder spiked with the drug phenicillidine, which is also known as PCP and angel dust. Speaking about the infamous incident, crew members have described a long and strange night of chaos and confusion that even involved a hospital conga line. Some people were laughing, some people were crying, some people were throwing up, actor Bill Paxton told Entertainment Weekly at that time. I've never heard of this. This is crazy. And they don't know who did. They spiked the crew with PCP, making the Titanic. Holy shit. Suspect was never named and the case was reportedly closed in February 1999. Holy shit, that doesn't make, was it Bill Paxton? Was it a Leo? Did Leo have some, it was kind of the start of his Playboy yacht phase. Remember, he's on that big ass boat. Got a little excited. I hope that never happens to me. I hope that I'm never spiked with some major drugs, because let me tell you, I'm not going to react well. I'm going to have a psychotic break in my mind if I'm on PCP and I don't know it. please don't ever do it. And if I'm asked if we're doing edibles or something one night, like that's all I'll do. Really low dose cannabis edibles, nothing more than 10 milligrams, okay? And even 10 milligrams, I'm like, holy shit, okay. But like, don't lie to me. And it's like, actually, it's 50. I can't go there with my mind. I can do a lot with a little. People with anxiety can do a lot with a little. So, oh God, it just doesn't seem real that that this happened. Oh, fucking Bill Paxton was one of them that got that. he got doped. The set decorator Claude Roussel recalled the 2022 interview with Vulture that Bill was sitting next to me in the hallway of the hospital and he was kind of enjoying the buzz. Meanwhile, grips were going down the hallway doing wheelies in wheelchairs. Sounds like they were all having a fucking good time. This fucking PCP. You know, I've always been really scared of PCP and angel dust because my last stepfather, who's long dead, when he was a young man, he bought angel dust with his friend, and they did it at a bar, and it was laced, and his friend died, and then the stepfather was in a coma for some time, and he was like terrified of the night for a really long time. He would not go out at night, and his family had to like kind of trick him into going to a grocery store when it was starting to get dark, and he was like trapped in the grocery store and he wouldn't leave because it was dark, and apparently that got him out of it. And then my mom met him. Isn't it beautiful, the fate that was waiting for me? Jesus. Thoughts to the crew of Titanic. I'm not going to get too into this. I'm just saying we need to brace for this Iran and Israel shit that's going on. Iran just shot like 300 cruise missiles at Israel, and they shot them out of the sky. And they said that, like, okay, that's it. That's all we're going to do then, because you blew up our embassy. But Israel's like, fuck no. So we're waiting on pins and needles to see if there's going to be a full-out fucking war there, that they're already at war with the other place. And then there's the other fucking war going on still with Russia and Ukraine. And now Russia's bombing the fucking nuclear plants. Those are starting to get fucked up. And then once they get fucked up, they're going to melt down. And we're thinking about going to Europe this summer. What are we fucking thinking? What are we thinking? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fucking Fallout. Check out Goggins on fucking Fallout. It's great, man. It's a fun show. It's a fun show. It's like there's something a little lacking about it, but I really respect that they didn't get too lost in CGI monsters and shit. You just get like a couple of cockroaches, some big floppy fish, and that's it. And we just got Goggins with the burned off fucking radiation face as the fucking ghoul. And it's I kind of knew of these games, but I never played them. And guess what? I'm going to start playing Fallout 3, and we'll go from there. We'll see. Because I'm digging the world. I'm digging that vibe. It seems like a lot of fun. I'll leave you on this note. Jinx Part 2 is coming out this Sunday. Yes, if you have seen the original Jinx, it came out in the mid-2010s, and it was one of the craziest ends to a doc series. You have to watch it. It's crazy. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. And then you got to watch Part 2, because we're going to get to talk to Robert Durst's friends. These are the people that enabled him and made it so he could murder all these people through all these decades of time. He was a really weird fucking little rich guy. You know, black sheep of a big family, that real estate family in New York. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. I'm back in the docks. I'm watching a bunch of movies. You know, I'm trying to just like get back into film. I feel like I've been off my film game for a long time, and I love my films. And I'm on the Letterbox. If you want to fucking follow me there. MDunks is my name, and you'll get some of my dumb reviews. I'm enjoying it. It's fun to just be dumb, and And I like logging when I've watched the movies. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I like to keep a little diary of when I'm watching stuff. Watched Mad Max, the original Mad Max. Didn't love it. Didn't fucking love it. It took him a long time to get mad. Like, he was a bit pissed, Mike. And I thought he was going to be more like crazy. Like, I thought he was going to go more Joker. And he was just a guy getting some revenge. His fucking wife and daughter got killed. Her baby. I don't know if it was a boy. I think it was a boy. His name was like Chonk or something. Yeah, I mean, it was 1979. I got a bonus half star for that. It's been 45 years. Was Mel's accent ever real? I know he supposedly grew up there, but he was born in the States. Barely sounded real, his Australian accent. Fun nevertheless, and maybe now I'll check out those remakes, because those do look fun. Those look pretty fun. I didn't get the whole thing about it being, like the world was low on gas or whatever. It just felt like a bunch of assholes, mate. Episode 115's in the books. Can you believe it? I toughed it out. I was a sicky dicky. And now I'm here. I'm back. Maybe we'll get 3 in. Maybe I'll get one at the end of April because we're halfway through April right now. Maybe we'll either do that or we'll start off May. I don't know. It's how I roll. It's how I friggin' roll. Everybody have a great rest of April. Get ready. Enjoy the spring. Weather's getting better. Make sure you siphon the gas out of your snowmobile, okay? Siphon the fucking gas out of that shit. Because we barely used it and it can't sit in there for the whole year. Even with fuel stabilizer, okay? I'm going to check on you. I hope my Amazon packages see you again.